Oh god, people are not happy. Really seems to copy and paste from Overwatch 1 with more bugs and even worse gameplay. Everything is locked away unless you have been playing before. True. By overwrite Overwatch 1, a game that was worth every penny with this free-to-play, buy our newest cosmetics fest of a game. They've lost all of what was great about the game. It's sad to see. I poured hours of time into the Overwatch. I only to have it all sapped away with advertisements for new skins. I'm done with this company. They won't be getting any more money from me. Broke a game, doesn't work. I'm missing skins and stats are all messed up. Thanks, Blizzard. Dude, people are so aggy. Activision Blizzard admit Overwatch 2 is declining. Overwatch esports is dying. Another week, another Overwatch Blizzard update on just how shit they're handling this IP. For a while now, it's been in a massive decline, and I mean, we stream it all the time. We love the game, don't we? We love the game, chat. They just keep trying to kill it. So we're going to watch this video by Young Ye and sort of find out the fine details of why this is happening.
Overwatch, man. The fanfare surrounding this series is just not what it once used to be, especially with how poorly Overwatch 2 was handled. First of all, the justification for the number 2 is just not there. When they shut down 1 and replaced it with 2, they added some new maps, a hero or 2, but, you know, there was...
You're right. The number 2 stands for shit. This game is shit.
wasn't really enough of a big leap forward for Overwatch 2 to feel like a proper sequel. It felt more like a major update to 1. And a lot of changes, you know, got mixed reception from fans. The content additions didn't feel meaningful enough. The monetization changes were not well received. While Overwatch 2 is free to play, it doesn't change the fact that the game is just less rewarding because so much stuff is paywalled or behind some kind of battle pass system that's very grindy, and it's just nowhere near the more rewarding system.
I mean, the battle pass system I don't care about. Everything has a battle pass. Even Diablo has a battle pass system. I mean, people love that. But yeah, I don't really care about having a battle pass in a game. And to be fair, they give some decent skins and emotes and all that good stuff. That's not an issue. For me, it's the price. The price for the skins that are not part of the pass is ridiculous. It's absolutely insane how expensive this stuff is. And now that, like, even the prestige skins they give at the end of the battle pass, they give to you in slots. So, like, the latest one's the Tracer, like, elf skin, which is pretty dope. I like it. But they do it in parts, so you get, like, free, like, parts that you unlock throughout the battle pass, which sounds cool, which means, oh, I can get the skin, you know, earlier in the battle pass, and if I keep grinding, I can get the better skin and the extra stuff, and that sounds cool. But it takes up slots, so you're actually getting less content in the battle pass now. Like, those extra, like, what, 2 slots? 2 or 3? I think it's 2. Those are skins that you could have got for a different character. It's just less work for the developer. It spaces out the battle pass. It's all very predatory, and they just keep doing it. Is there no one in the boardroom? It's just like, all right, I've had enough. Stop. What are we doing?
Of Overwatch 1, which, yes, did feature loot boxes, but at least the way the reward structure and monetization structure was set up did allow people to get consistent rewards throughout the course of their gameplay experience. And
I've said this before, but I am A-okay having loot boxes in the game if you unlock them from playing the game. I don't think that's an issue. I think Apex, again, I say all the time, but Apex has a system I think works where, like, all the skins are in these loot boxes. I mean, they do special skins that you have to buy, but all of them are in these loot boxes. You can unlock them by playing the game, or you can buy the loot boxes. Don't buy the loot boxes, just unlock them. Like, that to me is a system that works. If people really want to buy the loot boxes, they can, but you don't need to. I've bought like 1 or 2 maybe in my time in Apex, and I've got most of the skins I want. Like, it's just a perfect system.
And with how much worse that's gone, it's just literally less fulfilling to grind out Overwatch 2. And then more recently, what was going to justify the 2 in Overwatch 2, the PvE stuff, got a significant downgrade. While story missions are still a thing, hero missions were cut completely. It was this mode where there was going to be tons of missions that you could tackle with heroes that were going to be customizable with skill trees and everything that would allow you to change up how the heroes play. With all that being cut, a lot of people feel disappointed, and it makes the 2 in Overwatch 2 just that much less justified. So the optics surrounding the game currently feel pretty negative.
Oh, 1.4. Holy shit. Oh man, people are not happy. Dude, that must be one of the lowest scores, right? Damn, let's just take a look at some of this stuff. I don't know if you guys, hold on. Here we go. You guys can see this, it's not like blinding. Really seems to copy and paste from Overwatch 1 with more bugs and even worse gameplay. Everything is locked away unless you have been playing before. True. By overwriting Overwatch 1, a game that was worth every penny with this free-to-play, buy our newest cosmetics fest of a game. They've lost all of what was great about the game. It's sad to see. I poured hours of time into the Overwatch. I only to have it all sapped away with advertisements for new skins. I'm done with this company. They won't be getting any more money from me. Broken game, doesn't work. I'm missing skins and stats are all messed up. Thanks, Blizzard. Dude, people are so aggy. Is that my door? So my Amazon delivery guy was very, very confused that I answered the door in a green screen tie. I couldn't understand why he was looking at me. Oh God, people are not happy.
And you can see it in things like the user score here on Metacritic, where it's one of the lowest user scores right now. And not to say that the user score is an accurate representation of a game's merits, but when people en masse decide to downvote a game so much that it gets a score like that, it tends to be indication of some kind of displeasure within the community. And to further highlight the less than ideal state of the IP currently, recently Activision Blizzard hosted a financial briefing where they shared their Q2 2023 earnings report, and the headline here from IGN speaks for itself. Overwatch 2 engagement and player investment is declining, Activision Blizzard admits. The summary of their financial report can be found on investor.activision.com, and here's the portion about Overwatch 2, which reads, while engagement and player investment in Overwatch 2 declined sequentially in the quarter, the Overwatch team is looking forward to the August 10th release of Overwatch 2 Invasion. This will be the largest seasonal update yet, planned to include new PvE story missions, a new game mode, and a new hero progression system, as well as an additional hero. So Activision Blizzard has gone on to admit that not only are players spending less time with the game, but also players are spending less in Overwatch 2.
Of course, we've had enough. I mean, I said this on the last stream we did on Overwatch. We had the same guy from a previous stream pretty consistently. And, you know, I'm in, Diamond? So it's quite a big pool of players that is pulling from. The fact that I'm getting constant rematches with people, which is great for the, content. But in terms of, a player base, that's not good. That means the pool has gotten marginally smaller. And, I mean, it's sad to see. The rank system's already fucked. I really, really want them to come in and sort of sort out the matchmaking. That's my biggest thing. I personally don't care about them pushing the skins. If you don't want to buy them, whatever. Don't buy them. You know, I like the gameplay. I like to try and progress in rank, but the system is fucked. There is a serious flaw to the matchmaking in Overwatch. That's my biggest concern. When they removed the decay for the lower ranks, I thought this was the start of something good. And I mean, that was it. Then they decided to keep removing shit. They removed the PVE, which obviously has pissed off a lot of people.
They haven't shared exact figures, and they're probably not too keen on doing so, but generally, there is a decline in how much players are playing and how much they're spending, and that's just obviously not a good sign for what is supposed to be a long-term live service. Now, whether the new seasonal update will be substantial enough for people to feel the spark of playing Overwatch 2 again, especially with story missions being introduced and whatnot, and whether the new game mode will be fun and compelling enough to bring a lot of people back, all that remains to be seen.
Didn't they confirm you have to pay for this? Like, this is an additional charge to play this, like, these single player missions. I don't even care if they're great. Just the fact that doing that is gonna make a lot of people not bother. I'm not gonna buy it. I stream the game pretty consistently, and I'm not gonna bother with the story missions because I just don't want to give them money. I had enough. Like I said, I won't buy the skins because I don't want them, but I don't want to play the story missions if they're just gonna be cutouts from this PVE experience we were promised, and they're gonna charge me half the price of the full RRP of the original game. Like, you know, when you think of it that way, it feels like a kick at the teeth. It was like, what, 15, you know, British currency, British lads, British pounds. That's a lot of money. Just, like, that's more than the season pass, right? It just seems weird to me.
I know that the story missions, last time I reported on these, they're not going to be very long, just a couple hours. Their estimates right now, based on Game Informer's report, that a story mission ran about 30 minutes, not including cutscenes, that 3 story missions that will be included as part of this season will...
Wow, so 3 missions are roughly the same length, and they're looking to almost 2 hours of story content altogether. $15. So I was a bit off. It's not 15 Britaroonies. It's, well, probably like 13, 14 around there. I don't know what the conversion is. The pound is worth fuck all now, to be honest. That's even worse. 2 hours of content for $15 is ridiculous. Again, it's more than the season pass. That's a whole, what, month? How long do the seasons last in Overwatch? Is it a month, 2 months of content? Yeah, it's, you know, crappy skins, but I mean, it seems like that's better value than 2 hours of story content that's literally just cut from this promised free PvE experience.
Will likely take about 2 hours to beat, and that's, you know, you have to pay $15 for that. So it's not a chunky amount of content. People interested in the PvE stuff, it feels like they're going to tune in for a couple hours and then drop the game again, unless the new game mode really compels people enough that it'll have players stay for the long term and it'll drive up engagement and spending. As for the general discourse online surrounding this,
I want to like bring mention to Apex. They just released a single player like little story driven thing for the Revenant and Loba stuff. That was free. Yeah, it was really short. I mean, you're talking, I mean, you can blast through that in like 5 minutes. But there was cutscenes, there was lore, there was different gameplay than just playing the BR. For free, leading up to a big rework of a character that's been needing it for a while. For free. And I keep emphasizing the for free part, because Apex's model is so much better. They're not bringing Predatory. Yes, they do a lot of these collection events where they ask for some money to get certain stuff, but you do get free content out of it. And if you want the like heirlooms and prestige skins, you can buy them. That's down to you. But the lore and the story stuff they give for free, that's perfect. Because it's a simple model, right? You're getting people excited, getting people invested into the lore because they get into experience it for free, and it's building up these characters that people will start to love, and you know the story is, you know, getting more and more expansive. So people might be more inclined to buy that skin that's a reference to something that happened in the character's past, or the prestige skin for the character that has all these unlocks, because you like the character a lot and because you've built up that, I was gonna say attraction, but we're not on that part of the internet. You've built up that sort of relationship with the character. You like the story behind just, Valkyrie flies and shoots missiles, lol. It's a bit more deep. That's the right model, rather than saying, hey, you guys have been wanting lore for these characters for so long. You guys love the animated shorts. You could play some story missions. It's got cutscenes, but that's $15. Okay, come on. $50. We're going to release a skin pack around that event too. Yeah, another $15. Like, oh, you've already now paid more than you would have bought Overwatch 1 at release date. You haven't got the battle pass this season, so that's another 50. Yeah, there we go. There we go. $15 there too. It's ridiculous, man. I hate it.
Well, not a whole lot of people are surprised that there is a decline in player engagement and spending. You got tweets like these: who would have thought after canceling 80% of the promised game, people would lose interest in Overwatch 2? This gained quite a bit of traction. Here's another somewhat viral tweet with over 12,000 likes and almost a million views. Remember, Blizzard made the best multiplayer FPS game of all time and then abandoned it to make a co-op PvE game they would eventually cancel. Overwatch, the 2016 smash hit and insanely popular multiplayer game, was chosen to not be their focus. A lot of people reminiscing the Overwatch 1 days when it felt like this was just going to be a runaway hit that would continue to thrive for the long term, only to see it in the state that it is, which just feels like a shadow of what it once used to be. Now,
I've done a lot of videos on this Overwatch stuff, and I mean, I'm getting bored of talking about it as well, to be honest, but the reason I'm so invested in this series is because of that. I played this on a whim. I was working at Game, retail, and I was just chilling out and, you know, selling the games and doing the add-ons and trying to get warranties on everything, because Game was pretty predatory itself, to be honest. And one of my coworkers said, like, this game just came out. It's by Blizzard. You know, he was a big Diablo fan, and he was like, you should play this. You like shooters. You play Call of Duty. This is kind of it's more Team Fortress, but you might like it more. And I never played Team Fortress. I've never been into TF2. But I was like, okay. I bought it on my game discount, so I got it for probably about £19. So like maybe back then, probably like $25. Threw it on. I was like, whatever, I'll play it. I had to make a Battle.net account because I hadn't used my old one since like the WoW days. And I fell in love with it, man. Like, the game felt so smooth. And this is early Overwatch 1, before they sorted out a lot of shit. But I loved it. And the whole time I was playing Overwatch 1, it was the best shooter. I stopped playing Call of Duty because I was like, this is so much better. I played a bit of Apex when it came out, but that felt a bit, I don't really like the feel of this. It's just not smooth. It's not tight like Overwatch. And it was like that up until like they decided to start dropping recycled content, recycled events. I got bored like with everyone else, and then I moved on. I moved on to a game that was thriving, Apex, and played that. I even went back to Call of Duty just because that had content coming out. They were adding to it. Again, didn't feel tight. I don't think I've played a game that feels as nice to play as Overwatch, as a first-person shooter. But man, just seeing how hard they've fucking dropped this ball, it's depressing. And I want to cover it, and I want to talk to you guys about it, because again, before, like I've said, a lot of you guys I've met through Overwatch, like way back. And man, it's sad to see, but I'm kind of going off on one. This is a longish video as well. It's just depressing. I really hope they can sort this out.
a more popular launcher and platform. It's also worth noting that this is happening around the time coming to Steam. Over time, more Blizzard games may roll out on the popular PC launcher and storefront. The timing of all of this feels interesting. Just as Activision Blizzard announced that there's been a decline in player engagement and investment, they decide to release this game on a more popular launcher and platform. It's also worth noting that this is happening around the time when Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard made significant headway when the FTC lost its court case against the acquisition. Regardless of what the thought process was behind bringing Overwatch 2 to Steam all of a sudden, I'd say that the more accessible a game is, the better, but also the game itself has to be in a good place to leverage.
I feel like it will bring some new people to it, but not much. Not as much as they're probably hoping. I think anyone who wants to play Overwatch has downloaded Battle.net. I feel like they'll play the game on Battle.net if they were going to play the game. Throwing it onto Steam, depending how they handle it, if it's going through the same sort of like client stuff, kind of like Apex, and it's like, okay, you have to log in through your Battle.net to link with your Steam, so it's the same account. Yeah, fine, whatever. I don't think they'll get much of a buzz from new players. If they release it on Steam and it's like, oh, they start off, it's not compatible, so you have to have a new account. Your Steam account's different to your Battle.net, and then eventually they'll do cross progression, blah, blah, blah. That's going to be a problem, because that's going to be a lot of like Smurf accounts. There's going to be a lot of people that are using it as an opportunity to just go onto Steam and destroy the lower skilled player base. Like, these top 500s would now be like in their placements, and it's, I don't know, man. I feel like it might fuck up the ecosystem even more, if I'm honest. If it's just a straight up like, oh, you link and you're all sorted, you're all golden, perfect, then new players can come in, and it might generate a little bit more of a player base. But if they fumble this compatibility thing, it could hurt actually a lot more than it's gonna like salvage.
Leverage the additional platforms that it releases on, people have to feel excited for the franchise, and currently it just feels like the franchise is at a low point. The optics surrounding its monetization, its changes, its lack of substantial additions to justify the 2 in Overwatch 2, and then the cutting of hero missions, it just feels like there's so much going against Overwatch 2, so many decisions that killed the hype and the upwards trend of Overwatch as an IP. And then to make matters worse, the state of Overwatch esports is abysmal right now. It seems as though the days of the Overwatch League are numbered. Here is something else that Activision Blizzard disclosed during their recent financial briefing.
Yo, they literally came out and just took a bunch of L's. Like, disclose, I know they have to, but coming out and saying this shit does not look pretty. Especially how hard Blizzard have been pushing the league stuff for Overwatch.
Our collaborative arrangements for our professional esports leagues continue to face headwinds, as previously disclosed. During the second quarter, we amended certain terms of our collaborative arrangements with team entities participating in the Overwatch League. According to the amended terms, following the conclusion of the current Overwatch League season, the teams will vote on an updated operating agreement. If the teams do not vote to continue under an updated operating agreement, a termination fee of $6 million will be payable to each participating team entity, total fee of approximately $114 million. As of June 30th, 2023, a termination liability has not been accrued. Total revenues from the Overwatch League comprise less than 1% of our consolidated net revenues. What Activision Blizzard is saying here is that the current state of Overwatch esports and esports in general is pretty rough right now, and esports just does not make a whole lot of money for Activision Blizzard, and so they're giving Overwatch League teams an out if they decide to discontinue the Overwatch League.
Yeah, it's going to be a big hit, but I mean, we've seen it with a lot of the pro players in the community. They've dipped. They've dropped out of Overwatch. You know, I don't think it's so much in the league, but a lot of these good players don't play anymore. And I don't think esports is dying. The ALGS for Apex, the Apex League stuff, that seems to still bring in a lot of people that are interested. I mean, and that game has bugs, man. Like, the amount of matches I've seen on that have just been buggy messes, or they've had to they've like crashed the game mid like stream and then had to like keep going. Like, they don't even do like a reset for the teams, they just kept going after like a crash. It's really weird. That's still pulling in a lot of people, and I mean, I can't remember the last time I watched an Overwatch League, and I used to be very into it.
If the votes go that way, then all teams will receive a termination fee of $6 million to essentially give them a bit of a parachute. And then further indication that Overwatch esports and esports in general is in trouble is the fact that Activision Blizzard seems to be moving away from esports in general, as indicated by layoffs surrounding esports staff at Activision Blizzard. As The Verge highlights in their article, the fate of the Overwatch League after the current season is now in the hands of team owners to be voted on sometime later this year. And the speculation out there right now is that it's highly unlikely that the teams will vote to continue things, given disruptions like the COVID-19 pandemic and the financial stress that caused, given what happened in China, where Blizzard games, including Overwatch and Hearthstone, were taken offline in the country because Blizzard and its longtime Chinese publishing partner NetEase failed to negotiate a new licensing agreement. Given all this and the general cooling on esports overall, it's a safe assumption that the franchise owners will probably choose not to continue on with the league, take the $6 million payout, and summarily end the franchise era of Overwatch esports. Overwatch is not just any live service, it is primarily a competitive PvP hero shooter, and when its esports scene is in shambles like this, that doesn't help with the current state of the game and the decline of its optics.
But it's in shambles because of the franchise owner. It's Activision, man. Ever since they sort of took the reins, it's just been on a downward spiral. I actually am quite happy for Microsoft to take over this developer and try and sort some of this shit out. Like, they've got the money to back it. I mean, again, like the ethics and stuff of like buying up all these competitors, I get is a bit it's a bit icky. But man, I don't want to see this game on life support anymore. Either put it out of its misery or, Senzu bean that shit and bring it back.
Its player engagement and its player investment. Now, Activision Blizzard continues to insist that they're not planning to abandon Overwatch esports. Overwatch League Commissioner Sean Miller affirmed Blizzard's commitment to Overwatch esports, stating Overwatch remains committed to a competitive ecosystem in 2024 and beyond. We're building toward a revitalized global scene that prioritizes players and fans. He further added that I'm actually very optimistic about the future of Overwatch esports and the competitive ecosystem. We're doing all we can to make the player experience and the fan experience one that people want to return to, want to be a part of, and get excited about to turn on. But there's a very real possibility that that optimism is fake and does not match the reality of the current situation, especially when you consider that the company's esports department suffered layoffs impacting around 50 employees, which, according to one of those affected, seems like a significant gutting of Activision Blizzard esports.
Of course, they've just come out to do damage control. It's absolute nonsense. This is someone talking. I can come and be like, hey guys, I'm very optimistic. This video gonna get 10,000 views. Now, my videos don't normally do that well. Like they really don't. But I'm optimistic. I think this time, yeah. Don't worry about all the evidence to say that that's not gonna happen. I'm optimistic. I think it will happen this time. You can say that about anything. Like it's absolute nonsense, especially on the back of all the layoffs, like he's just said. It's literally fluff. It's nothing. It's just words. I don't know what this was. Words. It's absolutely nothing, man. I think, yeah, if they lay it off, they kind of want out. It's probably hemorrhaging some money, but it's not because of the esports scene. I don't think, yeah, it might be not as popular as it once was, like during COVID, but yeah, it's not dying. I mean, CSGO is still around. Call of Duty is still doing the rounds. Like I said, Apex is still doing it. Like, they're not cutting it off. So if just Blizzard, Activision are cutting off the Overwatch League stuff, it's probably because they fumbled the IP and it's just not as popular as it once was.
Verge spoke to a number of former employees who were laid off, and all of them are saying the same thing. Nothing about the gutting of the esports department of Activision Blizzard speaks to a company that's truly fully committed to esports for the long term. Former employees were also not pleased by the lack of communication surrounding layoffs, which came out of nowhere, despite Brad Crawford, Senior Director of Global Communications of Activision Blizzard Esports, insisting that supporting our employees through transition is our top priority. A lot of former employees report that they don't feel supported. There was no warning. This was a complete shock to everyone, and none of us who were laid off were offered any opportunity to switch roles or teams. And the fact that these layoffs happened around a time when Activision Blizzard was working to overhaul tools used to run its tournaments, with the new tools not being complete before the layoffs happened and the new tools essentially no longer being in development. That's further indication that Activision Blizzard's interest in esports is waning because the scene is just not doing well. A former employee said that our replacement tool wasn't finished, so I can only speculate that Activision Blizzard is closing its esports division. In my eyes, they're completely unequipped to internally support anything esports after that, after the recent round of layoffs and after the halting of the development of these new tournament tools. So yeah, all this optimism coming from Activision Blizzard higher-ups about how they're committed to the long-term future of Overwatch esports, all of that contrasts and contradicts heavily with the grim picture painted by the now former employees. There was already indication over 2 months ago that Activision was waning on their commitment to esports. This is an article from May 5th, 2023, where PC Gamer reported that Activision isn't sure how long the Overwatch League and Call of Duty League will last, says efforts to address challenges surrounding esports may prove unsuccessful. One of the quotes from this SEC filing is that esports leagues continue to face headwinds which are negatively impacting the operation and potentially the longevity of the leagues under the current business model. We continue to work to address these challenges, which could result in significant costs, and such efforts may prove unsuccessful. This is on top of what was reported last month on June of 2023. A streamer invested a good chunk of money into esports with little to no return. And this streamer made a video warning people to not get into the esports business because everyone is losing a lot of money. Scrolling down, we have some choice quotes such as, if you look at any esports organization in North America, all of them are either broke or going broke. And I do mean all of them. Some organizations will try and put on a front and say, hey, we're still good, we look good, everything's cool here. Trust me when I say everyone is losing a lot of money. A lot of people are being fired. No organization is safe right now, which further reinforces the...
Holy shit, maybe, yeah, esports is dying out then. Maybe I'll take that back. I didn't realize that all the orgs are suffering as well. Like, I know FaZe is being shit, but I kind of chalked that up to, you know, it's FaZe. It's one of their directors was Snoop Dogg at one point. Like, what? But yeah, that's it's kind of a worry because a lot of people like I think Ludwig's got his own team now, right? It says Most Critical. Like, there's a lot of them floating around. It's kind of worrying because like ALGS, I've been enjoying that and I've been watching that a lot, and it seems to still pull in a lot of people. But yeah, I guess it might be a dying breed, chat.
The notion that Activision Blizzard's optimism surrounding the future of esports, it feels really fake compared to the grim realities of esports right now. Brands are scared of esports because they invested millions and millions into it and they never got any significant return. Activision Blizzard itself admitted that the total revenues from the Overwatch League comprised less than 1% of our consolidated net revenues. It's just not a worthwhile financial investment for the company. Even since late last year, there was a general sense of foreboding surrounding esports, with this article from VentureBeat reporting that the esports winter is coming. Scrolling further down, it is explained that with COVID pandemic concerns winding down, live streaming views are falling from their pandemic era highs. At the same time, advertising budgets are being slashed in anticipation of a recession. This means less money coming in across the board for ad-supported businesses like esports organizations. So the Overwatch League and the Overwatch esports scene crashing right now is not just a result of Overwatch as an IP just being in a less than ideal state. It's also just the general state of esports alongside just the general economic state that we're currently in. But it certainly doesn't help that the Overwatch IP optics are at seemingly an all-time low when an IP like Overwatch 2 is trending downwards both on the non-esports side of things when it comes to player investment and engagement, and on the esports side of things due to a number of factors, alongside Overwatch having killed the hype for the IP so much because of the way that Blizzard and the Overwatch series has tripped over itself constantly. None of this gives confidence that Overwatch has a bright long-term future unless Blizzard makes some drastic changes in the way they approach the development of Overwatch, or unless some kind of content or feature addition feels so substantial and like such a game changer, and finally something that justifies the 2 in Overwatch 2, that it'll spark some kind of fire that hopefully will be nurtured so that Overwatch can have a bright long-term future, because I don't want to see the potential of Overwatch squandered. But a lot of people would argue that that's exactly what's happening right now. Overwatch just deserves to be in a better state than it currently is in.
100%.
Because so many people do love it. Like, I enjoyed Overwatch once upon a time, and I've fallen out of it, but I want reasons to come back to it because I enjoy the setting, I enjoy the heroes, I enjoy the gameplay. But you know, if the game is finding ways to be unrewarding through its monetization systems, just poorly marketing features, or just being overly ambitious with things to a point where they have to cut the thing that so many people were looking forward to for the so-called sequel, the hero missions, when Overwatch 2 and the series as a whole just keeps mishandling its execution, you know, it's hard to stay excited for Overwatch. It's hard to not just move on to greener pastures, and I feel like that's what a lot of people are doing. We'll see if Overwatch can make some kind of major comeback or recovery with this upcoming season and future content. It is still a major IP. There's still plenty of people who tune in and play the game, but the declining trend is certainly not encouraging, and only time will tell, and Blizzard's efforts will tell what the future holds for this now troubled series. Or at the very least, that's one man's take. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on the current state of Overwatch 2 and the Overwatch IP. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.
Young out. God, that was a good video. Matt, I'm very depressed. The sight of a good video. Very depressed. They need to change some stuff up. Like you said, there needs to be something substantial. And it doesn't have to be just instant free content. Here you go, gamers, you've complained enough. Just do something to bring people back and give them a reason to play. Like, it doesn't have to be loot boxes. It could be, I don't know, maybe... All right, say you main Genji. You play nothing but Genji. There's a cool skin that comes out for Genji, but it's, you know, $20 like they usually are. Maybe have some sort of hero system where, like, if you play that character a lot, like, the more time you put into that character in game, it will discount the skin. So not that stupid shit where it's like, oh, you've got the spray, we'll knock off 10 cents. Like, you play like 20, 30 hours of this character since that skin's been released or something like that, then it will get cheaper. And the more you play that character, the more cheaper it gets. You don't have to give it to them for free. Just give them a reason to keep playing. So if they want the skin, they will play Genji. They'll grind to get that skin. And it's just an option. It's just there, so they don't have to pull out their wallet and go broke because they want the funny haha anime related skin for Genji. I don't know. I mean, that's just an idea off my head. There's ways they can save this game. I just don't think they want to do that. For them, it's just about how do we get more money from this game? You know, we're not making as much money as we thought. How do we sap more money from these poor gamers? I feel like that's just how it's gonna be. I wouldn't be surprised if they do pay only modes soon. I mean, they're doing it with the story driven missions, but I'm talking like I don't know, like the prop hunt thing is new, or it might have been in a past event. I don't know. It looks new. Maybe they release that full time, but you have to pay. Like I could just see them doing stupid shit like that, and it's not good. Not good, chat. But never mind. We're done for the day. So I'll see you guys later. Hopefully there's no more bullshit with Blizzard. I'm kind of getting sick of coming back. But I don't know. We'll watch this space, I guess. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think it's as dead as I think it is now? Like, are you still grinding on it? Like I stream it a lot on twitch.tv/Guyinthetie. We play it very frequently, and I don't know, man. The player pool is not, it just doesn't seem as big as it once did. But let me know if you play it. And hey, if you want to hang out, come watch the stream. It's fun. Big, big